Michigan. I want to talk a little bit more about that state right now because the president's there right now, and he's going after, of course, the union vote. That's part of it. It's a critical swing state. We've shown some polling that shows him trailing former President Trump with some of those voters, and he risks losing support as well, the Arab and Muslim American community in the state of Michigan, as we've been talking about, over his response to Israel's war with Hamas. So those are the key issues that Mike Rogers is looking at. Mike's running as a Republican for the U.S. Senate in Michigan. He's also a former special agent with the FBI, former lieutenant in the Army, a long career in the Congress and the whole thing. We talked to a Democrat who's in the race last hour a little bit about Michigan, but you know, it's interesting to get the other perspective on this because the president who's there today is really getting hit politically, it seems, from, you know, his left on this. People in the Arab American community particularly don't seem happy with his policies on the war. And I bet you're going to tell me that he's not going far enough in some ways, right?
Well, you can't muddle your message. So what's happening is he's losing the Arab vote because he said he's all in for, Israel taking on Hamas, did not call for a ceasefire. And that was their demand. And so when he tried to play this silly game of, well, I'm a little bit for you and a little bit for you, he lost the Arab American community, the Muslim community in and around Detroit. And he's going to pay a price for that. And they're just going to walk away. They've already said they're going to walk away. I don't see any major changes happening between now and November that would change the outcome of that.
Your thoughts on this executive order? I just spoke with the former Green Beret, David Diesel, about this executive order. You go after the violence in the West Bank and you allow sanctions and the rest. What are your thoughts on that and how much domestic politics might be in that?
About 128% domestic politics in that. It's 4 Israeli settlers attacking Palestinians. There are so many other ways for them to do this than to focus on 4 individuals in Israel, attacking Palestinians. It's almost nonsensical. I mean, he's got a problem across the Middle East. He has lost respect across the Middle East. He's lost credibility, more importantly, across the Middle East. And now we are entangled in the Middle East in a way that I have just never seen before, all by decisions that he's made. When he shut down the Saudis and going after the Houthis, when he took the Houthis off of the terrorist list, all of these things have consequences. When he allowed Iran huge cash inflows because he took off the ability to enforce for them selling oil, $30 billion a month or some number. And so that cash you can see turning up around the Middle East. And here's the important thing. We had 3 soldiers killed. They're still thinking about what they want to do after 160 other attacks on U.S. forces.
Yep,
so
166, whatever it is. There's the 3 soldiers. But the president does say he's made that decision, as you know. He says he's not thinking about it anymore. Well, this is what he says anyway. Not thinking about it anymore, knows what he's going to do. We might not know. And it's the whole time and place of our choosing type of thing. What would you say about that? What do you think he should do to respond?
There should have been, if they weren't after the very first attack on a U.S. soldier anywhere in that region, having a set of targets developed on how to make sure that there was a price and a consequence for that, they're dead wrong. And so now they're just dead wrong 166 times. And the way you're waiting it out, that you're allowing the proxies, they sent out a statement, said, okay, we're going to go into defense mode. And listen, I'm not for going into Iran, but I would there's things that you should do to Iran, ramp up the sanctions, stop the payments for oil revenue, put all of that sanction enforcement back in place. They should also make sure that there's a very aggressive sanction regime on their missile programs, really start ratcheting down the policy that was there before Biden got in office under the Trump administration, by the way. And then you strike those targets that are causing problems for U.S. soldiers. You cannot allow 20 minutes a day, 2 days, 2 weeks go when they deliberately attacked and killed 3 U.S. soldiers in Jordan. It's not fair to them to ask them to go serve there if you are not going to have their backs. This does not pretend well for what's coming up. They just feel like they can do what they want. These
you talked about not being for going into Iran. You know, there's some in your party who said, yeah, that's exactly what we should do. You say, well, you don't want to go that far. Let me end on a question about politics.
You know why? Because the only reason I say that is because there's other things we can do first.
Right.
That's the only reason I say that.
Okay. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more
of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.